So what's up everyone, today I'm just going to be showing you a few builds that I've been working on. So these are basically, this is kind of like my serious car and this is kind of like my fun car. In all honesty, I prefer the fun cars, to be honest, just because like you can go play around with weird stuff and you can use, I like to use these bodies that cover the even though this restricts what I can put at the front. I do really like the look of these bodies a lot more than, say, the DCR ones. These are a lot more cooler in my opinion. So this is a Trigale. The kit itself is quite affordable. It's only about $8 or $9 US. I paid 74 Hong Kong. So it's really not much for these. And this kit over here, I did add some glue just to strengthen the wing over here. So the wing is a bit stiffer. That way, whenever you crash it, these wings don't just snap off. And then this is the body. So this is a relatively basic build. There isn't really anything special about this because all the rollers are in the normal place. So this is the rear, I believe, FRP for AR. And then this is a 9mm roller with a double aluminum roller on the top as a stabilizer. It's inverted. And the reason why for this is because for lane changers, this kind of helps a little bit. The plate has some angle on it. There's two shims, and then it's screwed down over top. And then there's a lock nut on the very tip edge of the plate. If you add a lock nut in the middle over here, it will get rid of the angle. So you have to mount it over here so that the plate will more or less keep its angle that way. And I'm just using two regular screws just to hold the weights in. Originally, I was using a slimline weight. It wasn't enough, so that's why I'm using these heavier weights. So now it's a little bit more front heavy. And that's basically the front setup. There's nothing particularly special here. The 9mm front is mostly just because it corners for quite well. But the 90mm rear is so that it exits well. Exit meaning after it exits a tabletop, the 90mm roller typically helps strain it out a little bit. If need be, you may want to use O-rings on the 90mm. I typically use it on one side. If I have trouble with exiting a tabletop, meaning if you're going at high speeds, like after a kink or after a turn, you may want to use one of these things. It just basically solves the problem. You can mount it on either this side or this side. On rare occasions, you might want to add both to one side only. Just kind of depends on what you're dealing with. At the bottom, I have one popsicle. Whenever you buy a brake like this, like the white, blue, or this one, it comes with a popsicle already. So this is a FRP popsicle. I countersunk the screw, and I added a 3mm white brake sponge. 3mm because it's overkill, but it slows down the car enough that I can deal with almost any track. Again, remember, this is a fun car, so I'm not tuning this for one specific track. So I just want to have fun. So I'll close up this brake if I need to. It's just to make sure the car doesn't crash, because even though the car is cheap, I don't want to crash it, right? The wheel, the stock 12-spoke one, stock tire. So these are the slick tires. They are quite grippy. You may want to use a different set of tires like super hard. I'm not going to swap it just because it's hit here already. And the rear is a carbon fiber Japan Cup 2021, 19mm rollers. As I mentioned earlier, these are actually fairly affordable. Even though they're special color, they're actually quite affordable. I think they're like $7 USD or less. It's not much. And this is the FRP popsicle again as the rear underguard. So it can't hit the screw, it can't get caught in it, and it also cannot get hooked on the fence. And this is a rear FRP brake plate. So you can mount a large piece of sponge over here. It's just very convenient for that. Keep in mind, if you use a popsicle stick for the front, you may want to consider double stacking one, like this. There's two popsicles over here, so you can mount a brake plate and have it all supported. The reason why there's only one here is because I only had one left. If you're doing this properly, make sure you use two. It just helps a lot because there's a gap here. There's a gap for the sponge, so it's not perfect. It's not attached to the body as tight as it could be. So if you have the time, just do it. I'm not bothered, so that's the reason why I left it. And then these are the FRP MA chassis side stays. This is with the block dampeners. I just replaced these with lock nuts, and I countersunk with the screws. This is a very simple build. Basically, anyone can build this. Super fun, super straightforward. Had a lot of fun with this. And the reason why I primarily built this, though, these are 4-to-1 ratio gears. But the primary reason why I built this was because one of my oldest motors was this. This is my Mach Pro from when I was a kid. So I only had 2 motors when I was young. I had this Torque Tune Pro 1. This is not a Torque Tune 2, it's a Torque Tune 1. And it came with these kind of pinions already. And this was my second motor, a Mach. And you know it's the old one because you can see the logo over there, right? Where it says SMC motor. It has like a cursive writing. This is a new one. The new one has a little sticker here. You can see the logo difference. All right. So this to me is very precious, and I wasn't just going to throw it away. But unfortunately, there is one thing worth noting. The performance of this motor has been degraded. One of my friends has one of those things that can test it with a certain voltage and check the RPM. And unfortunately, the RPM for this thing is like 7 to 10% slower. So unfortunately, the performance of this motor has been degraded, unfortunately. That being said, it still turns on. It still runs. And even though it's on a build like this, it can still be reasonably fast. I mean, I can still bring this to a BMAX tournament, right? Because this is such a simple build that there really isn't anything special about this, other than the fact that it's a lot of fun. Which is the whole point of this hobby, anyways, is just to have fun. But yeah, it's been a while since I've built something like this. I just really enjoy building fun cars, going full speed, experimenting a little bit, playing around with the different settings. Whereas with all the races that I do nowadays, ever since I got back into the hobby, I started building cars or tuning them specifically for one track. And I'm gonna be quite honest with you, as fun as races are, I still do enjoy just building a generic car that I can throw down any track. This thing was a lot of fun. I have a Festo Juan that I'm gonna be building, soon. So it's this one right here. Because when I went to Mod Dojo about half a month ago, I managed to pick up these super hard tires with yellow lettering on them. Look at that. Oh, that's just so cool. So I'm going to be decking this out. I don't know what I'll do quite yet, but I'll since I have offset tires, these are carbon reinforced Y spoke wheels. I'm probably going to be building some kind of a high-speed cornering build with 13mm rollers. So I'm super excited for this. I'm really excited to build this. But the race that I'm going to be in April 25th, this is going to be my submission, is a DCR-01 with a Mach dash, with 3.71 ratio gears. So this is kind of like my racing car. I don't really know if this will work well yet, but basically it uses O-rings, double aluminum 13mm, 12mm, double aluminum roller with the O-ring over here. With a Mach dash, if I hit a wall and hit a tight corner, it'll just slow it down a little bit. Like if I encounter a hairpin turn, this is what this is for. I'll slow it down just a little bit, and these are just tube stabilizers. There is a 30mm cap screw front and the rear. At the bottom over here is a tapered aluminum roller with the holes, so it's a little bit lighter. This is so that when it jumps like this, if it ever hits the side of a wall, it'll just kind of bounce off of it. So that's the reason why I'm using these ones, because I want the jumping posture is going to be like this and not like this. It's going to be like this. The brake at the front, this is a wide brake, the new one, the high grade carbon one. That's what it looks like. Is the exact same one, front and rear, exact same one. That's what they look like. So I have a 2mm brake sponge at the front that clears 45-degree banks, and this thing over here, it's 1mm thick only, and this also clears just barely. It touches it ever so slightly. I needed to touch because sometimes when I encounter dragon backs, I might need this just a little bit. I don't know how well this will work yet, but for now, this is going to be my competitive car. It's more or less going to stay this way. I'm just hoping that it will do well. And this is a FRP underguard. This is the front piece that you mount on the back, and it basically just covers the 19mm roller over here, so it can't get caught on the screws. In addition, I also have a tapered 19mm roller, so if it ever gets hit on the side over here, it'll just kind of get off. I don't have anything protecting the underside over here, unfortunately. I'm not quite sure what to do there, but for now, this is the way it's going to be set up. I think it should be fine, but I might change this to something else. I'm not entirely sure yet. And this carbon fiber piece is the Wygo Hobby one, the 3mm thick, so it just stiffens this up so it doesn't flex. This is the rear AR carbon fiber, and this is the AR side stay. This is made of FRP, so I just mount the weights as far forward as I can. It's right behind the wheel. So this is how I set up my build, and this is going to be my competitive car. Hopefully it will do well. However, in case if I have trouble with a tabletop going down at high speeds, remember this is going to be using a Mach dash. I may swap out the top roller or both with an O-ring one. So this is an O-ring one. I'm going to bring this to the race. I'm going to see if I can practice. If I cannot practice, I will probably add one to this side, and I'll just call it a day, and hopefully I'll do well. It is an open class race. This is not an open class car, but I'm just gonna give it a try because I want to have fun. One thing I've never done though is use these things. You cannot use Neo Champs. I cannot use these rechargeable Neo Champs. I have to use these RX alkaline batteries. I have never bought these things before. Some of the BMAX races I go to, by the way, we're allowed to use on the loops, like the 1900 milliamp ones. Sometimes we're allowed to do that, and sometimes we have to use these, but we've never been asked to use these much. It's the first big Tamiya race I've ever been to, so that's the reason why we have to use these. I'm going to another race in mid-May that also requires us to use these, so that's the reason why I bought a small box. It comes with 12 batteries for like 84 Hong Kong dollars. That's, I don't know, basically 11 US dollars. Don't know if they're cheap. I don't know if they're worth it, but I've never used these things before. So I'm going to use 2 of these just to test. Just to see what it feels like, if it feels any different from these, because I do all my testing on these. So I'm not entirely sure what to make out of this. I don't even know what to say, but I'll be bringing this tiny little box when I go race, and we will see how we do. I will be testing this in KSK Lab first, see if it clears the banks, because so far these brakes, they clear the 45-degree bank. I don't have a way to check 60 degrees, so I'm just going to give that a quick check, and hopefully this does well.